Hi friends, I'm Faith and this is Earthly Threads. Welcome to the Patch It Up post. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a blanket stitch on our patch from January. January's patch was of my chicken Polly Pocket. She's a Polish hen. I hand carved the stamps and then stamped them on secondhand materials. I did a heat bond on this one with the secondhand material on the background to give it a little thickness, and we're going to do a blanket stitch around the edge. If you'd like to be a part of the Patch It Up post, every month we have a new theme. Here's a little hint for next month's theme. It involves a flame. You may have already seen my stamp on some of my recent items, but then you also get a sticker and some extras along with my newsletter. So if you want to sign up for that, you can go over to my Patreon and you can find everything there. So today we're going to do a blanket stitch around the edge. You'll need your patch, a needle and thread, and then your item. I'm going to be using my jacket that I used for my last one, and I'll be using that for every patch that I do, so we're just going to patch it up really well. So you're going to want a needle and thread. Here I'm using embroidery thread, and I split it from 6 threads down to 3. Thread your needle and tie a knot at one end. I tie it a few times to just make sure it's thick and it doesn't pull through the material. I also like to put a few pins in my patch just to secure it to the fabric. First thing we're going to do is bring our needle up through the back of our fabric as close to the patch as we can, and then we're going to go 1/4 of an inch forward and inward. So our first stitch back down through the fabric is like at a diagonal, but then when we come back up through the material, we're doing 1/4 inch alongside the patch. We're going to continue to do the same thing along the edge. And every time we come back up through the material, we're going to catch the fabric on a loop like so, and it is going to catch and give us a nice edge around the patch. So here we're going back down through our material at 1/4 inch forward and inward, and then coming back up, catching the thread, and then repeating that process over and over. And for some reason, the rest of my time lapse of me sewing this patch didn't work, so here I am seam ripping and retying the thread so I could go back and show you how to finish this stitch. Around the curved edges of this patch, I recommend just keeping your thread tight as you weave in and out of the fabric. Just make sure that you're pulling it tight when you pull back through so that it doesn't loosen up and the thread doesn't end up coming inward. If that makes sense. If not, please comment or reach out and I can explain it to you a little more. And here's our last stitch, going back down through the material and coming up and pulling that thread tight. We're going to go back down right beside our stitch, and then we're going to tie it on the back. I like to pinch my needle through the back of the material, and then I wrap the thread 3 times and pull through, and it makes a nice secure knot. Overall, I really like a blanket stitch. I think it looks nice and clean, and it's pretty simple to do. Okay friends, you can see it's another day because my video didn't record the first time, so I had to do some backpedaling and resew that for you, but it turned out really good, and that is how you do a blanket stitch. Overall, the stitch is pretty simple and easy. Around the curved areas it gets a little challenging, but just make sure you're keeping your stitch tight and it should turn out fine. Try this on for you so you can see how it looks so far. I'm loving this Polly Pocket patch. I love having her on this jacket with this super cool blanket stitch. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. February's Patch It post is now live. If you'd like to join us, you can find that on Patreon. And as always, thank you for being here. I appreciate your support.